Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening, everyone. First of all, we would like to say thank you to Dr. Agis Andriani, SPDM Home, to give us the opportunities to present uh, about exploring case study method in qualitative research. So we are from Group 9, and I would like to introduce our group's member first. The first one is me, Radzka Fairuz Shidqi, Aulia Syarifah, Yeni Srimulyeni, and the last is Gerrald, Gusti, Humaidi, Ahmad, Zain. So the first that we are going to discuss is about introduction. Next slides, please. All right, so according to Hay, and Crocker 2009, qualitative research is a broad and evolving methodological approach which has roots in disciplines such as anthropology, sociology, and philosophy. And according to Naman, mentioned that qualitative data may sometimes be numerical, but more often the data are written or spoken words, action, sound, symbols, and physical object and visual image. And in qualitative research, there are several methodologies. One of them is case methodology. And according to Baxter and Jack 2008, the case study methodology is an approach that is used to investigate a phenomenon in a specific context by utilizing various data sources and perspectives. And according to Denzin and Lincoln, case study research has been identified as a standalone qualitative approach by experienced qualitative researchers. And the objective of this report is to give an understanding of the detailed explanation of case study methodology in qualitative research. And this report is organized systematically, beginning with the definition and then followed by a literature review that explains previous theories and research related to case studies in qualitative research. And next, the methodology, including data collection and analysis technique. There is also an example of case study, then the interpretation of the results, strength and limitation, and finally the conclusion. So the next one is about literature review, will be discussed by Gerald.
All right, Radzka, thank you for the opportunity. Here I will explain about the next material about literature review. For the first one based on our group discussion, the literature review for the case study method is real setting. According to Baxter and Jack in 2008 on page 544, if the process is applied correctly, it is a valuable method for developing theory and evaluating programs. It also helps researchers to identify the key elements for planning and conducting qualitative case study research, qualitative study research projects more coherently. The second one is theoretical. Uh, According to Saunders et al. In 2003, case study method can be explained using interpretivism, constructivism, and realism theory. Next slide, please. On the next slide here, we can see the previous research that is used a case study method, and it was conducted by Alvarez et al. In 2019. The research that has been conducted show that the case study method was applied through a workbook to support the contextualization of global health systems in order to develop evidence briefs, resulting the contextual factors including the cadres and the group of health workers available in each country. The cause and effects of this problem were framed using potential policy options to address the problem, and the implementation considerations varied substantially between Peru and Uganda. Even though many similarities were found in the process of using the workbook, the method was viewed positively, and all the participants in both countries would agree to use it again for further research. Uh, Next material will be delivered by next speaker, please.
Okay, thank you, Gerrald. Now I will explain about methodology in case study research. As case study is one of the methods for collecting the data in research in both qualitative or quantitative research. In addition, Baxter and Jack 2018 explained that the case study method enables researchers to examine a phenomenon around their environment. The process of collecting the data in case study method typically involves interviews, recorded physical artifacts, documentation, direct observation, and participants' observation. It's according to Smith PR 2018. There are several types of case study methods, including in the case study method interview for data collection to address the research question, how and why. It is a study that conducted by Atkinson 2002. There are several types of case study, such as explanatory, and descriptive. Explanatory case study is employed to seek the answer of the question that aims to explain the causal relationship in real-life interventions that were too complicated to survey or experimental approaches. In addition, exploratory case study is used to explore the result of an evaluated intervention that has not a single clear outcome. And the last is descriptive case study is used to explain a phenomenon or intervention that the real circumstances that occurred. It's a study that explained by Baxter and J 2008. Next presenter will be delivered about example of case study in qualitative research.
All right, thank you, Aul. So, for case study, a relevant case study in education was conducted by Srimulyeni and Srimulyeni Nasir 2023, retitled Analysis of Students' Difficulties in Speaking English, a case study at the 10th grade students of Mas Darul Azhar Kutachane. The purpose of this research was to investigate the main challenges that students face in developing speaking skills. So the researchers applied a descriptive qualitative approach supported by simple quantitative data to present percentages. The population consists of all 10th grade students at Mas Darul Azhar Kutachane, and the study used a total sampling technique so all the students could participate. And the data were collected using a questionnaire, and the responses were analyzed through identifications, classifications, descriptions, and explanations. This methodological approach allowed the researchers to analyze the phenomenon in a natural context and to categorize the types of students' difficulties. And the result showed that students' difficulties in speaking English were varied but interconnected. The largest proportion is 13% of students report that the main difficulty is lack of vocabulary. Additionally, shyness and nervousness were experienced by 25% of the students, and another 25% students felt afraid of making mistakes. Finally, 20% of the students admit that their struggle were due to a lack of practice opportunities. These findings show that both linguistic and psychological factors significantly affect students' speaking ability. This case showed how the methodology can provide rich and contextual insight by combining descriptive analysis with numerical support, and the researchers were able to highlight not only the frequency of each difficulty but also its deeper relationships to students' confidence and their classroom experience. And the next is discussion. So, the result of the case study was interpreted to improve students' vocabulary. This is gained through interest and contextual method that improve practice utilization and not just recognition. Also, it shows that the method used can build a supportive environment where mistakes are framed as a natural and essential part of learning and not as a failure. Moreover, it also highlights the integration of structured practice where students can create frequent and little stakes opportunities for speaking. For example, pair work, group discussion, presentation with clear guidelines to break the cycle of avoidance speaking. And the implication of using case study in qualitative research is that it gives researchers a chance to explore a phenomenon deeply in a real context by using different sources of data. A case study also makes it possible to analyze individuals, organizations, interventions, relationships, communities, or programs, and also support the process of breaking down and rebuilding complex phenomena. Because of flexibility and carefulness, this approach is very valuable for qualitative research and helps researchers to develop theories, evaluate programs, and design interventions that fit the research context. So there are some advantages of using case study in qualitative research. According to George and Bennett, the first point is conceptual validity, which is to make sure that the indicators chosen truly reflect the concept of the theoretical the researchers intend to study. Deriving new hypotheses, case studies are useful for exploring situations in a way that help a researcher find extra factors and come up with new ideas for hypotheses. Meanwhile, in qualitative research, case studies have a number of shortcomings. Case studies are frequently criticized for lacking rigor. Because case studies employ a limited number of subjects, some are undertaken with just one subject. They offer little foundation for scientific generalization. Additionally, case studies are frequently criticized for being excessively lengthy, challenging to complete, and generating a significant volume of paperwork. And the next is conclusion. I give it back to Radzka.
So thank you to all of you. So we can conclude that case study method is an approach in qualitative research that allows the researchers to gain an in-depth understanding of phenomena in real-life context. So this report has discussed the use of case study methodology in qualitative research, and the example by Sriwahyuni and Azir 2023 show how this approach can reveal students' linguistic and psychological barriers in speaking English, including lack of vocabulary, shyness, nervousness, fear of mistakes, and limited practice opportunities. And case studies can demonstrate how individual, social, and institutional elements interact to shape the phenomenon under investigation, as demonstrated in both theoretical discussion and real-world application. By providing a true and contextualized understanding of complicated events, case study technique makes a substantial contribution to qualitative research. So, next, please. So, these are our references to support our report, and those are about our report about case study methodology in qualitative research. Thank you for the attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.